Ghetto. And going to prison seemed like a rite of passage, but now I know I brought shame on my family name. I apologize. Ishmael told me Miss Brenda won't answer.
All right, About My Money TV, it's your boy King Kaos back in the building with another episode of Barz2Brickz with my boy Mikey Swisher. What up, Swisher? What's happening?
What's good, bro? We got a good one today.
Man, listen, they keep coming. The blessings keep coming. We keep having good brothers coming here talking about their experiences, man, and building this Barz2Brickz platform, each interview at a time. We got one of our returning co-hosts. It's our guy, Chauncey, Nut. You know what I'm saying? What's up with you? What's going on with you today, man? How you doing?
Man, peace. I think I done changed my name. I'm officially the Peace King, man.
Peace, man. Hey, man, I dropped. That's probably one of our hottest reels, man. The Peace reel going crazy on YouTube right now. If you ain't seen it, we did interview Chauncey, man. Go check out his episode of Barz2Brickz. I think it was very insightful. And if you got youth out here, man, that's out here in the streets and that, man, he actually got he works with a dope platform, man, and he doing it out of the love of his heart, man, because we been there and we been them young cats before, man. So go check out that episode, man. Chauncey Nunn Anderson on Barz2Brickz. And we got our special guest for today. We always let our guests introduce themselves, man. It's something we just started, and it's what we doing, man. So what's up, man? We're going to let you introduce yourself. How you doing, man? Tell them your name. Tell them where you from. How you doing?
My name is Foosie. I'm from Maple and Fall Creek, which is 31st and Broadway, and that's Tahuti phone. That ain't my phone.
Peace, King.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So you give us a little story on yourself. How did you come just as impacted?
Yeah, we using a politically correct, man. You wasn't locked up. You was just as impacted.
That's a new term to me. When you say justice impacted, I don't believe in the justice system. I believe it's a legal system. So when you say I became justice impacted when my brother got murdered when I was 9. Okay. Like, because after that, you looking for justice. Even if you don't get that specific person, but any time you do something to anybody after that, you projecting this justice that you looking for. So at 9, I was justice impacted, but I ain't fall into the system until I was 18. Okay.
Well, we like that, though, because everybody we interview, right, sitting in your position don't mean they been where you been at. So, like I told a lot of our guests, man, 99% of black people have been just as impacted in a way. And for you to put it in that way is exactly what we talking about, bro. It's the reason why we doing this platform, to enlighten people that so-called justice system, that it ain't justice, and you impacted not just the people that you incarcerating, but they family, they friends, they mothers, they sisters. You not the only one to go to the penitentiary when you go to the penitentiary, brother. So that's dope that you seen directly through that. You know what I mean? And that's why we use the word, man. We gotta kind of put the mirror up to the justice system and let them see their own fallacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with that being said, though, like, because you did say something, and it made a lot of sense. But from that age, how did that affect you, though? Because I don't think a lot of people get, like, how it be stuff real young that can mold you. Because, like, even with myself, when I go back to everything that I went through, right, I could start most of the time from being young, like extremely young, molded. Like, I explained music to some people one time about, like, how the shift went just like that from, like, the tell them my age, Dana Dane. When he had the rapper Dana Dane with Frank, it went from being my favorite song to one day coming outside, right, and we close enough to hear the Cars. What's playing? Freaky Tales.
Yeah, it's too short.
Now, how can the Dana Dane, right, compare to the Too Short Freaky Tales when every other thing he's saying about a chick, you done broke down 50 million ways, right, to call this chick a bitch, talk about how big her ass, you see what I'm saying? So even though we wasn't even into girls that young, 6, 7 years old, it's just the way that you keep, like the way that it formatted it with the beat right now. I don't want to hear The dang, because for one, nobody's playing it in their car. I got to catch it on the radio. But now that Too Short was hitting so hard that people, they got the tapes in their cars. So now we constantly trying to get close enough to
hear it out.
To try to figure out who can remember the song the fastest. But that quick, just my normal coming outside switched up. And that's just to add to the many different things that molded you, but just the music that quick done shifted my whole chain of thought. So something as dramatic behind somebody passing who you love, like I can only imagine how that affected you.
Sis in the building, this live. Y'all know we ain't cutting nothing either.
This we got Starbucks being dropped off right now.
We love you, sis.
Also,
Thank
non-judgment.
you.
The main girl.
Thank you.
The main girl is
Thank
in
you
the
so
business.
To who you wanted a
Building.
plain black coffee, she wouldn't
know
do
it.
She bought him some type of mocha latte.
Boss lady.
Nah, that's what I said. Man, listen.
Nah, I'm the
That's
black
what I need.
coffee man.
They came up with that over there. Was it good? Is it good?
Yes, it is. And it got ice in it.
Yep.
It's
All
hot.
right, y'all have a good time.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you too.
Yeah, this is super appreciated, boy.
Yes.
hate
Sis.
room
Hey, sis, take care of us. Hey, listen. Boss lady in the build. You know what I mean? We ain't taking no breaks, nigga. I ain't cutting that out.
Yeah, but to jump right in there about what you said, I started losing people early. I was like 5 or 6. That's my first best friend died. I don't know if it's like a health complication or what, but you still looking on spend the night. And it wasn't just spend the night. You know, you a kid, you petty. Like, we traded toys. So where Brandon at? Then right before my brother got murdered, it was a dude that stayed on the block behind us. We actually stayed on 31st and Park, 3105. And brother and them stayed on 31st and Broadway. And he might have been like 3 or 4 years older than me. But you know, you start getting in the game early, you start touching a couple packs. And his stepdaddy ended up stabbing him for 2 packs. I'm in the 3rd grade. So his sister in my grade, in my class, I'm like, dang, man, I feel you. Like, even though I ain't even remotely knowing that a month or 2 from now, my own brother gonna get murdered. They say your spirit got a memory of the future that your mind can't comprehend. How am I 9 years old telling this girl that, hey, yo, I feel you, when I ain't never lost nobody to violence like that? Then a month or 2 later, my brother get killed. And they say, like, when things happen like that, they say it ain't no cure for trauma and all that other stuff like that, but they say you can get, like emotionally stumped. Mm-hmm. And I think at that time, I started dealing in logic heavy. And it was, like I said, I might have been like, justice impacted in a sense, like, well, you want this person that did it to your brother to die. So you just looking at it logically, like, you took one of mine, one of yours should go too. And so what messed me up, and I ain't even really started thinking about this till my Uncle Fraud was like on his deathbed, like how when my brother got killed, it ain't funny, but my little sister was laughing at it because I'm 9. And, like, I go back there, my daddy and then my uncles, they all in the room, like, you know, they getting it together. And I'm like, hey, y'all gonna kill that? They did that to my brother, right? Ain't nobody showing me off. They was like, oh, yeah, for sure. I'm 9 years old. So, in a sense, like, you put your first hit out. It's like, nah, you just impacted me with what justice mean. You do something to me, one of mine, I'm going to do something to you. Back. And then there's also, I'm little, I'm short. So it just also make you complex about, like, man, like my brother was a little dude. So I'm thinking, like, okay, 9, like 10, like, he was 26 when he got killed. I'm like, am I going to live to see 25? I know how that's going to happen. As soon as I get me a stick, I'm going to make sure I get me one of them, too. You know, so it's that age of 9 where you start looking at things differently. And, of course, I got in a whole lot of bumps and stuff in school right after that because you feel like everybody testing your nuts after that. When they ain't, they just push you down to football. But you thinking like, man, what? You're like, my brother got killed, man, I'll smoke you.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? And I'm laughing about it now just because I'm able to look at it from a place of growth now and look back and be like, dang, like that fucked me up. You know, but now be able to look at it and be like you said, like you dealing with the youngest, it's just like, and what Kaos was saying, it ain't no separation. Like everything is like this gestalting thing, so everything is really touching each other and you don't even really know it. Mm-hmm. Like the same thing with, like you said, you brought the music up already. I'm liking Special Ed. I'm liking Rakim and all that stuff like that. And then you start hearing NWA and Scarface and all that. So now you seeing murder in your mind and you ain't even seen the murder yet. And you feeling it because you feeling it from the vibe they talking about. So let alone when you actually feeling somebody gone from the crib. So murder music is still, you know, what the draw is, you know, so.
So think about it, though. Just to say, to touch back on the music before we move on, you put yourself on that frequency, right? And then you speaking them words in the power. That young. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember, like, NWA, they had nothing but quotables. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you running around.
Bruh, I told
You know
my mother I ain't want
got it bad
nothing but black clothes.
Mm-hmm.
My mother was like, you the easiest to shop for. You don't want nothing but black. When NWA came out, I wore nothing but black. I can remember it visually. And I was probably the same age. You see what I'm saying?
Think how old all of us was when Fuck the Police came out. You know what I mean? So you really running around saying fuck the police, coming straight from the underground. A young nigga got it bad because I'm brown.
Yeah.
Right?
You
I remember that I probably was in the 2nd, 3rd grade, though, word for word.
Yeah, for
Word
sure.
I mean, I was a grade. I was
and ain't listened to it since then.
I mean, I was in kindergarten or 1st grade. And so it's just like, even though this is the sentiment of the ghetto, you still indoctrinated yourself to believe this. And it's just like, to this day.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So imagine
you know what I mean? Respect, like where it's due, you know, as far as on a human being level. But what I learned as a child, like it's hard to divorce yourself from who you are. Like I might not be as militant or anything else like that, but you still just like, I'm moving this way. Like I'm just gonna show love by space, by distance, you know. But
I think how you had to unlearn it. Cause I'm gonna build up and go to like you being incarcerated, but I'm adding to the point of, and I think that's for all of us, right? For one, don't know how to, like, you know, in the ghetto, man, like people don't really know how to deal with death. The conversations around death you really don't have none. Then you try to deal with it
when it happens
on the spot, and you be asking people that's impacted by it in a certain way, to where their responses don't be like. I remember like when Lil D got killed. I mean, Derek Swanigan, rest in peace. Shout out to the family. But I'm 14, little bruh 15. 2 cars, dice hand dumb. To this day, he got one of the most mysterious deaths around our way. Mm-hmm. But I remember when he died, I'm asking my mom, like, they doing killing Lil D. Like, in my mind, how can you kill Lil D? Like, Lil D let me drive my first car. 13 with a car. Yeah. Here, man. And I'm driving. He's showing me how to really drive, like, not through the parking lot. We riding through all the ghettos. And in my mind, I'm like, how can somebody kill him? Because he player. He never really had to fight nobody. You know what I'm saying? He just was a player at that age.
That's how I feel when Mario got killed.
Mario and Lil Boo from around Yahweh. Lil Boo remind me the most of Lil D. They had a little dude from their way. Same way.
Yeah,
seasoned
that's
Lil
the little dude that didn't leave past Emerson.
I was talking about.
I try to say Lil Boo, and it's crazy that you even bring Lil Boo up, right? I can remember I lived on 16th in Bell Fountain, and his mother house was the spot. And I couldn't leave him in the house. You feel me? I felt bad. This is when I really knew, you know, I was getting more conscious to how we was hurting families, right? His mother house the spot on Butler. So when I'm going in for the night, my little nigga sit over here all day. I don't sit over here all day, but my guy do. Yeah. So I'm like, man, he want to go with us. So we take him home with us every night because people still the trap don't close.
Yeah, for sure.
You hear what I'm saying? And his mama the sting. So his house don't never close. He can't never get a good night's sleep over here. So I take him home with me every night, man. And just one day, he bolted up. Next day, he gone, bro. And again, like he said, one of the most mysterious deaths in our hood, bro. He died right in front of Magnificence, man.
Yeah. So, like, get back on it, right? Like, when I asked my mom, her only thing was that she could tell me, because she hurt, because our families was close. So she hurt because I'm not knowing the time you watching your own son moving too fast. So she trying to give me a gym and plant a seed at the same time, but really don't even know how to discuss death at that time. So she just like, sometimes when people move too fast, they get so far ahead of themselves and be ahead of their time that grown things happen to them. Right? It always, even though I couldn't make sense of it, I spent a number of years
pondering,
trying to work it out to where I finally made something from it. But that's just like the norm when, like in the hood, when somebody died, people going crazy with the whys and the
How?
like, you see what I'm saying? It to where it almost get, and I hate to say, like, it almost get embarrassing the way that you see some people react, because there's really no topic about how do we deal with death. You know what I mean? Then, like I say, you dealing with that. You speaking word in the power on crazy stuff. You locking in on frequencies. Like, people that ain't even built like certain ways can hype theyself up. Like, how many people we see in the joint that we knew was super soft, right? But one act of violence got them 60.
And now they hard.
And it just took one time to get the right drug in them, hit the right music with the right frequency, and the build up, and it's then now you do
They
something
living
crazy.
up to they trying to live up to that.
Go to the joint and then get bullied the rest of your life in the joint, because everybody in the joint
No, you soft.
man, you is not built like that. You did that one time chump, like, come on, let's go. And like, that's what I'm saying. So you go through all of that. Then how do you like have to break away from all that to where you like, nah, this don't make sense. You see what I'm saying? You have to learn how to deal with how to be a man. You have to learn how to deal with people still dying out there. Then gradually you changing, but other people not changing. So now I got to learn how to try to stay in my place,
Man.
and not let everything somebody going impact me when I see you falling. You know what I mean? Like what was that experience like for you though? Because I saw you, I think on the right when you flipped. You see what I'm saying? So I didn't see you walking through at first. We linked up like 2010 in the joint. So I didn't get, you was already like to where I can approach it, because my mindset was already different. So it was like our energy attract energy. So we was good. But I know that was a journey he had to walk through
To get there.
while he was locked up.
Yeah.
So what was that like for you?
I mean, I think it was it's just one of them things where they, you know, people say that life, it can only be lived forwards, but it can only be understood like backwards. Yeah. I'm still stuck on like the fact of like how we don't really deal with death well. One of my dudes ended up I think I had just turned 18 and he got in a car wreck. After he was a good dude, man. And he took a pistol to school on a humbug because he had some smoke with some dudes where he had to go over his auntie house. So he wasn't about to do nothing to nobody to school. But and it was crazy because it was 3 people walking into school, and they was like, oh, I got 3 people on the football field smoking. And my guy and them just happened to walk through the door, and he had the strap on him. So he ended up going to the annex downtown for like 60 days. So he come home, and he was around us, and he wasn't doing nothing no more. Like, he wasn't smoking, he wasn't getting the bag, he wasn't doing nothing like that. And it was just like, I was like having this like out-of-body experience, like even when he was there, because I was like, dang, he's still him, but he different. And I wasn't like judging him for it, but I was just like, dang, man, something happened to him. Man, like, he was home for like, I don't know, maybe a month. He got his license that day, he died that day. And it's like, and I didn't know how to deal with death till looking back at that situation, because I'm like, here it is, ain't nobody do nothing to him except for the Most High. And so I'm like, dang, ain't nobody to do nothing to. Like, how you deal with this? And I think I had one of my first experiences in the joint when I was 19 when this dude died. I don't know what he died from, but I just remember coming back from the mess hall and everybody was just walking around like wasn't nothing going on. And I remember just being like, man, what's all this stuff right here? And the dude had a old boxes, some running shoes and some state boots and magazines and folders and all that. And I'm like, I'm asking CO, I'm like, dang, what's that? What's going on? He said, man, dude died last night. I'm like, here you go, take what you want. And I'm 19, bro. So I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, man, I'm like, 1, somebody died here. I'm like, okay, game on. Number 2, this what he left? So I'm like, even at 19, I'm starting looking at life like philosophical, like, man, that's all. If I do die, that's all I'm gonna leave is a box of shit in the joint. Like, man, come on, man. So it's like, so even though I bumped my head a lot after that, failed piss tests, caught phones and all the other stuff like that, but it's still, I was transitioning already thinking about, like you said, even like how you ain't even want Lil Boo to stay in the house. I don't mean you stop trapping, but them inner dialogues and conversations you start having when you start like, when you know something going on in your spirit. So it started happening young, even though it probably ain't filter out for about 7 years, 7.5 or something like that. So it's harder like for me to pinpoint it because I remember the beginnings of it. So when I started getting together, I was able to look back to some of them moments, you know. So I don't know if I answered the question.
It's different for everybody.
Yeah, it's different from everybody because, you know, like with me, I started reading a lot more. Just for me, you know. Some people had dialogues with other guys. You know, some people have to go through experience.
Yeah,
You know
inner
what
dialogue.
I mean, reformation can happen, you know, at any point.
Yeah.
But it's, to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's just all about, are you going to be wise enough to see, hey, this shit ain't working no more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you don't want to experience death. And that's all we were seeing on the inside. That's all you seeing on the street is death. Death, turn around. Is it? But I like that. I like your point, though. So was there any books that you was reading that really captivated your mind when you was...
Yeah, I've read a lot, man. I read a lot. And it was like so much so that I was really like a nerd. What's crazy, Young Unk is the dude that made me feel like I was normal because I'm from the ghetto, like through and through. But my mama used to take us to Broad Ripple, the library, because we ain't had no air on park. But she ain't tell us that till later on. We'll go get some books, do the book program in the summer, and then go to the pool. So then I'm in the joint. I'm like, man, it's people in there that can't even read. Like, it's just stuff that you somebody else would take for granted. Like, I remember being in the ghetto and going over to somebody's house and being like, hey, let me get some paper and some pencils. And they like, man, we ain't got none of that here. You know, so now you got this time where, one, I'm writing letters, really, even before I started reading other people's stuff. Because like I said, even with that philosophical point, I went inner first. And then it's like, you're around people, and then you start picking up books. It's like the thoughts and everything that you think. It's like you said, energy attract energy. The first book, I'm trying to think about the first book that I read. I feel like really just hit me, and it's probably Proverbs. Like it wasn't just like a book like Rich Dad Poor Dad and all like that. Even though I read all of that stuff, but it's really like when I picked up that, because I picked up the Bible before I picked up the Quran or the Circle 7, and like, even though I read everything, just because I was like, everything that I read, I wanted to be able to live. I know people like, man, you be knowing quotes and all that. I'm like, yeah, that's because it's applicable to my life. It's stuff that I experienced because I read something. I'm like, oh, yeah, that happened to me at this time, so it go in a foul. But reading Proverbs every day, whatever the date was, I think that's when I really just started being like, dang, man, like we kind of got laced different with game. And it's like, it's a ghetto-given thing, but it's like, but it's not just that. It's like a God-given thing as far as like to be able to receive game, like to know, like that's game to me. When you take a little dude, like, man, nah, man, take him with us. That's game. But most people think game is just like, oh, I got her out the draws, or and that's like, nah, man, game is just like, I'm listening to my heart out here, too.
For sure.
So when I read Proverbs, I seen like, nah, man, I've been moving right in some areas of my life. I've been speaking life over myself. I'm like, some areas I've been speaking death. And it's just like, and then just dealing with money, Proverbs really about women and your mouth, the stuff that you say.
That stuff you say.
So that's really like the first book that I really got into.
So let me ask you this. So you do music, right?
For sure.
And so while you was down, when did you start saying like, man, I need to start taking this a little bit more serious?
It was.
Hold on, was it music first? Cause then you should write poetry too.
Nah, it
or
was
just write in general.
Nah, just writing in general. But it was a dude in the county. I had been up on 71st Street like to go swimming at the chicks with the apartments, but I didn't know it was no gangsters up there. So when I get locked up, it was a dude from 71 that was like in the county block holding it down, like rapping. You'd have thought he was signed. I was thinking like, this dude just like a regular dude with a story. I'm like, so I just went in the cell and scratched something down, like, so you can't not hear the little thing on your chest or the thing in the base. Hey, man, you was in there rapping. I'm like, nah, what you talking about, man? Like, let me hear it. So, but I ain't never take it serious until I think I was 22, and Kenny Mac heard the song, and I still ain't put it out yet. It's called No Love Lost, and I was really just talking about like how people wasn't really looking out like that. And they had recorded it on Kid from GI on his phone, and then they had put it on the analog TV. So Kenny Mac like, hey, man, you my favorite, man. I'm like, that's what's up. I'll be hooping. He like, nah, man, like on the rap tip. I'm like, bro, I don't be rapping for nobody. I keep it in the tuck. He like, nah, man, they had your song on, bro. He said, I wrote 3 letters to my people. And I was like, before then, I always thought people just like me because I was solid or knew where I was from and all that. Before then, I ain't listen to nobody that said I could rap. But then when somebody I ain't know, like it made them write they people, I was like, dang, like, maybe I can do this in some capacity.
Yeah,
that was the first time I had the thought.
So while you was in there, what kind of fueled the movement more? Like, was you starting to write more? Was you starting to interact with dudes that was doing music? What?
I mean, I was interacting with dudes that was doing music, but most rappers was really just kind of cookie cutter, like saying what they think Kaos want to hear versus like, nah, I'm telling these stories from my childhood, man, because it's helping me heal. Even though I'm not going into it with that mindset, but I'm only writing this stuff down because they say a man can't know himself until he write it down. But I think it was really, like, after I met Young Unk, I was still, I was just about to tell him, like, cause he always felt like I was a young OG, like at a young age, even though I was a young uncle. My brother that got killed had kids like they my age. I'm 41, and so he used to call me Young Unk, and I liked it, so I started calling him Young Unk. You know, but that's
so
Tahuti, that's Peanut.
The whole joint.
Yeah,
they calling each other Young Unk.
Yeah, he's trying to put on me. I put it back on him. But I rap for him. In the cell one day, I don't know, it might have been Fish or somebody told you like, oh no, my dude got some lyrics, he kind of, and I was really just more like kind of poetic, kind of intellectual with it. Like I wasn't really coming with the heart or the belief because one, it's 1,000 rappers in the joint. And it's just like, who just want to hear somebody beating on the thing rapping? So I write my little raps and then just kind of chill. So when I was spitting for him, I was just like, yeah, boom, you know, he was just like, yeah, he's like, I hear the words. He's like, but how I'm going to feel if you don't sound like you feel it. And that line changed my life because it's just like, I'm going to let you feel the way to who I am and I'm going to let you deal with it. Regardless, even though I'm not running around people telling people about my dreams to be a husband, let alone like, nah, I'm going to do some music too. I'm just moving in my mind like everything is already done. But that moment with him right there, it just kind of let me know like, I mean, hold your nuts.
Yeah. Sowing them seeds.
For sure.
Sowing them
sure.
seeds.
For sure.
Way to put it.
Yeah, sowing them seeds.
For sure.
Cause I think that whole conversation though was more into where I was telling people. I always tell people like, do you feel me? Music is the music never go out of style, right? And I still see that even with the younger generation, like when we riding or whatever, like based off of their age. Like even say today, I had a young guy with me. I think he 20. It's one of my fellas. He 20, and I got to playing Webby. We was talking before the music was playing, so it was kind of like down. And then when the Webby came on, he was like, "Yeah, turn that up." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Man, you don't know about Webby, right?" And just to prove me wrong, that I'm so smooth, he went word for word. Couldn't wait to get more, and he was going.
Yeah.
And he just he proved what I always said. Like when you get that right beat and somebody saying something you can feel.
Yeah, something you can relate
to. It's stuck
to.
there. It's just like a memorable moment. So like certain songs from that era, like the Ghetto, Too Short, just stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, Tupac with the Shed So Many Tears. It's certain.
Yeah, for sure.
No matter when they come on, you remember the whole song. But it amazes me how like younger dudes now always want to call somebody an old nigga.
Yeah.
But then you see where they relate at. Hit them with the you feel me music, Boosie, something like that.
Yeah, they right
when
there.
they telling their story or like they older stuff when they was young.
Yeah.
When they was going through something, the young dudes know all of that.
Yeah, that's where you can. That's where you relate to youngsters at, man. Music bridge a lot of gaps. Like I keep everybody in the hood call me but with a respectful. You know what I'm saying? Because I never veered off for the ones I love. I always tell the youngsters, if I love your daddy, if I love your mama, then I love you. It's important for you to know who I am, and I ain't gonna even lay it out for you. Go ask your mama and daddy who Kaos is, because a pair of lips will tell you anything. So your mama and daddy can tell you who I really am. So if you come back and they say I ain't thorough, then ain't nothing else for us to talk about. But everybody come back like, damn, my mama said, boy, you was this, you was this. Like, I ain't got time for that, but that's where we connect at. That's how I understand them more. It's because I pay attention to what they actually listen to.
It's funny that both of y'all even hit on that because my nephew, 17, he about to be 18. And we was driving up to Best Buy to pick up a freezer, and he was like, man, Lil Durk, new album came out. And you know, your first thought, like, might be like, dang, Lil Durk in the jam, like, he had the money, he probably should have laid back. Boom, boom. We put the album on. And so it's like, some of them tracks, you like, I feel him. My brother got smoked like this. And it's like you start feeling like why a person, right or wrong, why they would put themselves in a position to be in the jam that they in now. And it's just like through the music, you like, okay, I feel it. Versus just like you ain't in the, cause like of course we not in a room, but when you listen to that in the truck, it's like they in there with you. Like telling you like, hey yo, bro, feel me on this one. Like I know you was in the joint, like da-da-da. And it's like he might not even be saying that, but he talking about something and you like, yeah, for sure. That's what he said to me. That's how I perceived it. And you know, and so I'm looking over at my nephew because I'm like, one, that's what he wanted to listen to. And like he hadn't heard it yet. So it's good that like we both hearing it at the same time, but I'm just like, just had a totally different perspective on everything that he was dealing with.
And that's what I think about, say, even like sticking on Dirk. Imagine Dirk Pops was locked up all his life. You feel me?
His
so
whole
imagine
life.
your brother getting killed and you don't got nobody to navigate through it or to sit back a little bit and be like, think
guide you
around
through.
You see what I'm saying? You got the money now. You bossing up around your people.
In 1 second, my fault for interrupting you. He got a line on the album where he said, I kept every letter that my daddy wrote me. Like, this dude up. Yeah. You would think something like this don't mean nothing, but it's just like, but when you in that slum and you just learn, you already know how we are with the pen, right? And just when you locked up and you in the hell and you tell somebody you love them, it hit different when they read that on the paper. Mm-hmm. So regardless of how much, whatever he got going on, he said, I kept every letter that my daddy wrote me.
Yeah, because he was somebody.
And just to go back to that though.
Like not to cut your wood,
but
go
ahead.
They said Dirk Pops had got caught with like $8 million when he got locked up. You know what I mean? So that's a dude that was able to provide. So that when it's like that, your word means something. You know how sometimes you might got a shitty father. So it's like, yeah, dude sent a letter, or you know what I mean. But when you had somebody that took care of the family, that was really your daddy, and now he gone, so you only can say so much in a letter, or even on the jack when you think it's wired. So I just got somebody that I respect, but then now I still got to navigate through life myself, in a sense, because how many people can tell you something, just like even with you, how many people could tell you something when your pops was your pops? It's like, dude, I ain't trying to too much. I got an OG. Even if I don't get to hear what I want to hear from him, I'm still saving all that room for him. Like I know people like that. It's mostly like when people be
and with you saying that, I mean that could be a good thing and a bad thing.
No, indeed.
You feel me? Because a lot of like rest in peace, OG Larry. You know what I'm saying? OG Larry was really trying to holler at me, like tell me get out the streets. You feel me? But I wasn't listening to him. Cause I'm listening to my OG. You know what I mean? So it can. That's funny that you said that, bro. That's good wisdom, right there.
I wasn't, cause I'm 100% with you. Cause I actually definitely wasn't saying good or bad, right? I was just leaving that example of how some people, cause it seemed like people who don't got everything they need in the house, they more receptive when they leave the house.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
For
That's
sure.
like me. If
for sure.
If you had some game, I'll pull it in.
Yeah.
Because I know what I don't have in here. I know I'm going to need some assistance to take every other little step because I'm going to have to get it out the mud.
You did.
So I was used to somebody having to, you know what I mean? I was one of them people got talked to death by everybody. You had to talk me to death. If not, you probably, at the time, didn't know I'm probably going to mess your money up. I'll make it so hot around here. And nobody gonna get but I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
Funny stories like man, I swear I had a dude, and I'm talking about it got on my nerves to one day. I'm like, why do you keep playing slow music, man? Like every day he would when we pull up
night,
every night when we went back to the projects, he started playing slow music. And like I didn't catch on for a long time. Then when I'm like, why you keep on playing slow music? And he like, it's for you. This dude was 10 years older than me. At the time, I'm 16, he 26. We riding like best friends every day. Going in on the sack, all that. Like, moving together. And he like,
that vibe
she
shit.
like, it's for you, man. And I'm like, what you mean? But he was married.
Yeah.
Nah, so when we go in, he go in. When we pull up, this is round 2 for me.
Yeah.
What we finna do in the project? You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
nah, every day I hear you doing something. He like, I'm trying to calm you down.
Putting you on a different
But
vibration.
what I wasn't catching is every time he played the slow music and we pull up, I'll go in the crib. Cause I got in-house. You know what I'm saying?
Dogs,
Yeah, I got in-house. If I pull up and I'm hype off that SIBO,
I ain't going in the house.
where we at with it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but even somebody 10 years older than me could give me that game to where I use that game now
Yeah, for sure.
on other people growing up. You see what I'm saying? So I was glad that I was at least one of them people that where it took a village and the village helped out.
You remember your thought, Kaos?
Nah, I remember it vividly because like what he was saying when you in a home, like all I had was my mama, right? My mama and daddy broke up when they was 7 years old. My pops from Chicago. That nigga moved back to Chicago before I was 9. So when I went outside, I was susceptible to the men because I know I got a mama. She working 12-hour days. See, I was like the youngest of 4 kids, and I used to look at my brother like, bro, you got everybody over here. They eating the food. Mama working her ass off. So I was always the nigga like, damn, I gotta get it. So I'm not asking mama for it. You feel what I'm saying? Because I seen mama come home tired. I seen her come home provide, and he was playing in the house. This nigga, you gotta think, if I'm 15, he 25. Nigga, the house fat. You letting motherfuckers go in and out the refrigerator. But in my mind, I'm like, mama working 12-hour shifts for this shit, nigga. So instead of me saying, mama, let me have this, I'm out on the streets. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And we don't understand that when we young, how susceptible we are to what's going on around us or what our mind frame is. Even at that age, I understood that if I can't help her, I'm taking away from what she bringing in the house. I'm almost being disrespectful to the work that she putting in. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, to roll with that, we also don't know. I mean, especially at that age, that we all made in the image of the Most High. Mm-hmm. So that means we susceptible to praise. I remember this a chubby dude, man. He had some game. He could actually hoop, but he also had some wisdom. And he had it's like 94, 95. So he got the S curl, and it was like I feel like he was around older dudes, but they was around him. And he was like, "Hey man, hey Foosie, go start my car up." I'm like, all right. So I go start the car up. I come back. He like, yeah, man. He gave me $10, and he said, hey, man, listen to Too Short and don't never trick. Bruh, my whole life, I took it as gold because he was like, basically like telling me like that I was a player and all that. I accepted that praise, and then I was bumping short, which I already was anyway. But now it's like now I'm listening to Too Short like the Bible with short dogs in the house.
Like it's an instruction.
I'm drawing the cover in there.
Straight up.
Nah, in real life, though, and then I never tricked either. Still, and I'm going to the grave with that one just because he told me, though. You know what I mean?
Foosie, you did what you end up doing, bro?
20 years and 9 months.
You did 20 years and 9 months. Stretch. So when you finally transformed over, did you have your plan on what you was gonna do coming home, or did everything just fall in your lap once you came home?
Both. You can seal it as tight as much as you can, but I also didn't want to be locked into a robotic plan as far as like how stuff was gonna happen with parole and work and all the other stuff. Like, but as far as like your dreams and the things you do organically, that stuff kind of happened like divine timing. You see what I'm saying? So like you gotta have a leg in both worlds, in the profound and the practical. So that's for me. That's how it happened.
Yeah,
I like that because a lot of brothers come home like you said, you had that plan right. And they say, make a plan and God laughs. You hear me? Because he got a plan for you. And a lot of times when you got that plan in your mind and you get out and one little block or one little stumbling block discourage you. You know what I'm saying? So that open yourself to discouragement. So and we had these conversations all the time about brothers that's coming home and the roadblocks they get into. It's not easy, bro, and it's not easy for us that's already out here. So if you coming home from something like that, brothers got to know it's not easy, but it can be done. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you sharing that perspective. You know what I mean?
Cause I think I do want to now like get into the stuff he been able to do.
That's
like,
right.
Since being home.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's what we want to do.
It got special because he got to go back into the walls. He been able to go back in.
Play some music behind the wall and penalty. That to me was crazy because I hadn't even been home like 6 months, and I was really still
fresh.
Fresh. And I went back because Iron Sharpens Iron. Shout out to Mattia and Jamarcus and them. It was like, oh, bro, you want to go back in? And I was like, Yeah, for sure. And so I went back in there, and they ain't even really had to tell me, but when I got there to the door, Matia like, hey, when you go back in here, like, be easy, like you a civilian, like you ain't no criminal or nothing like that. I want to tell him like, Fulio, I know, but I'm like, but it's the big bro telling me, and he told me with so much love and sincerity that it made me think about it again. And we going through the door, and I'm smiling, like, and I'm just like, all right, nah, I gotta tuck my cheese in when I get in here. And I was like, nah, man, there's still some thugs in here that was here when I was in here. They know I smelled every day, so, and it was just a blessing, man, be able to go back. And all I did was I played 2 songs. Well, I ended up playing 2 at the end, too. And just really just, you know, shake hands, you show love, because it's a place that if you don't want to, like my daddy was living, and some things you can't listen to from your pops, because my pops like, hey, when you leave this joint, he said, don't look in the rear view mirror, don't do nothing. I'm like, that ain't gonna prevent somebody from coming back. It's like it's your decisions. But so I was putting him up on game. So I was like, I was glad that I was able to go back. And, you know, even though it's sad, you see them brothers still got 90, still got 100 and all that, but it was like a parade when I went back in that joint.
But the thing, and that's the major part of why I wanted to do this right here, is because you giving brothers inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
You showing them that you don't have to do what we used to do no more, that you can honestly live an honest life, right?
Yeah.
And with you doing that, and there's no telling who you was able to spark. Because sometimes on the inside, all you need is that one vision. That one, man, I can do that. He did that. No. Because, you know, like I know, being on the inside, a lot of dudes are followers.
Yeah.
So it takes the right person, right, to make that change to where they'll be like, oh, okay, I can do that. You know what I mean? Because, you know, look at all the brothers that fell victim to that Katie shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It was monkey see, monkey do.
Crazy work.
And I
You know what I
say,
mean?
I say for like for Foosie, it was always anyway like because this light always shine bright. It was him
Absolutely.
and Adufu.
Yeah.
I should tell everybody like I should use them as examples because I had a lot of people I should network with in there just based off intellect and how I should tap into
Energy.
different spiritual systems and stuff. But I always low key made it a point to talk to everybody that was somebody in them different
Walks.
religious stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I should tell a lot of people, mainly the higher ups and all them. So I'm like, look at them too. You know what I mean? I'm like, no matter, Foosie never say what he is, but everybody want to be what he is because how his life shine. I'm like, or look at a Dufu. You know what I mean? Because the Dufu, like, they was like the opposite sides of the religious spectrum, but in not no beef sense, but from the outside looking in, somebody always think like a Muslim or Christian or Hebrew. You know how that work go, right? But Foosie just never really said what he was. But
He let
he
his
talked
light
to
shine.
everybody, and he was just like one of them people that everybody related to, everybody liked it. Then you got a Dufu on the other hand. Like, this was a dude, everybody kind of knew his story while he was in there. But the dude used to smile, eat his lunch. Then when he get done, he'll go and collect
up all the
everybody's trays. He'll come to your table. You done with that, brother? Yeah. Take your tray, put it up. This ain't nobody's job. This ain't even a job.
And then if you tell him, like, nah, bro, I'm going to take it, he like, bro, don't take my blessing. And he pick up all the trays on it. I love Adufu Williams, and I always will, just because he was on death row. And this brother didn't never think his feet was going to touch the grass again. Like, every now and then at the house, I go out there and walk barefoot. Ain't even my thing. I know it's good for the earth, the neurons, like grounding and all that. But I go out there and do it just because I know the brother's somewhere in the cell. And when he go to wreck, that's what he do. But I'm talking about, but like he said, like, the main thing is, to me, don't nobody got a monopoly on truth or showing love. So it's like, regardless of who I am and what I believe and who I belong to, it's like I'm supposed to treat everybody equal on the board. Now, I might have more respect for the brothers that been through the struggle that I've been through and living their life in the way and faithful to their wife and raising their kids up like that. But it's like, but I'm not going to have less respect for you because you out here running around doing whatever you're doing. As a human being, you got my reverence. But respect, that's a different thing. And so a Dufu was, like you said, you could tell people to look at us like that's somebody that I still like. you know, I send one up for him, you know, whenever I can.
So it was only like a couple people like that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even want to include myself, but that was one of my
But
things.
he was one of them dudes too.
That I just always never told nobody spiritually what I was on. Because it's
sure.
like, for what? Like, just let me
journey.
Yeah, but
Hey, 1 second, Kaos.
no,
Hey,
go ahead.
I want to tell bro one of the favorite things that he said. Like, and he's quotables. Like, and I always give him his credit even when he ain't around. But you said we was working in the office at Plainfield, and you was like, man, he's like, whenever I'm around, it's always gonna be some type of order around me. And he was the gangster and shit. And he wasn't saying it like on no Debo, nothing like that. He was just talking about like, cause the little dude in the block that I was in got lumped up. And it was just like, I said, dang, man, dude don't even join a laugh no more, nothing like that. He's like, see, man, I don't even like nothing like that. He's like, it ain't about like standing on nobody, but just like, you want it to be some type of order where everybody can be them. You know, so it's like, so you always want to create that energy and that opportunity for people to be themselves when they come around you.
Yeah.
And Young Unk was the dude that just made me feel more normal. Because I'm from the ghetto, but I'm a nerd, and I study religions, and science, and I'm I'm athletic, and all that stuff like that. And then meet him, I was like, what up, twin? Like, for real. Like, but that's the big bro forever. Like, so he was one of them people, too, because it's like, it's different when can't nobody stand on you. And,
Right.
but then you ain't standing on nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so that's a rare thing to come across. So,
Yeah.
Now, and that's what I was pointing out. Like, that's one thing that bro can attest to. We had a clique full of different niggas, and we all stood on what we stood on. Bro was in Ball State. Mm-hmm. Bro was going to Ball State when he caught his first case. We wasn't running around behind nobody. We had order because we was a team. It wasn't. It's a whole neighborhood that was divided, man, until we came together. Yeah. And it wasn't never about us standing on nobody. We was like, what is we doing? We all the same thing. Why is we running around? I used to tell niggas in the hood, this was my favorite thing. Nigga, you know his mama and daddy, what is you trying to fight this nigga? You's a hoe. Go fight one of these niggas on the other side of town. Niggas be like, man, Kaos. No, nigga. Because you know, I can walk out your house, I can go over your mama house and knock on the door and eat. Why am I trying to argue or hurt this man? It don't make sense.
Plus, I think I should have a problem with just selective gangsters.
Yeah, I hated it.
What's that saying? What they say? Even a monkey know which tree to climb.
Man,
that be so bogus, man.
Yeah,
Man, I used to hate that shit, bro.
That's something I should walk around the joint saying all the time to people. I'm like, man, I argue with a midget and I hit a 7-footer in the mouth.
Yeah.
And that mean like, dude, just because you smaller,
Yeah.
I never buck in an intellectual conversation
picking
and
on
try
a
to
nigga.
be like,
Yeah.
man, you heard what I said? Nah, let's keep going until you run out of gas or I run out of gas. But
Hey,
if
one second. Hey, you remember the dude? I think he might have had one leg, and he was in a wheelchair. Stinky.
Mr.
I'm talking
King.
about pungent. That's the word
Not
for it, right? I'm
pungent.
talking about, and he ended up getting smacked in the dorm, but he got smacked. And it's crazy the person that smacked him. I ain't gonna say his name like that. He might put some salt on his rep, but he was smacked him because dude called him the N-word. And I was just like, somebody's like, man, how you feel about that? I said, man, 8 to 80, man, blind, crippled, crazy. That's what they say where I'm from. I'm like, he stepped foul, bro. I'm like, he wasn't doing it like to be like, to stand on him in a way like that. Just let him know, like, hey, bro, like, I understand however you feel, wherever you from like that, but like, not here, not like that, bro. I don't know where you think you are. And then he went on about his business, you know?
Yeah.
And I ain't hear dude say it no more either. He was still stinking. He was stinking, though.
So let me ask you this though: how you moving now though, bro? What's your motion? What you doing?
You talking about practically, or you talking about just
Everything.
everything?
Your motion. What's your
Hold
motion?
on, real quick though, before we pivoted there, because I want to pivot right to what you was asking next, but I want to add this, and then like just as a character reference of when you was talking about motivation and seeing people change, because I will say he also is an example of having one dream, and then if it don't come true, right, swap to something. You know, a lot of people be so locked in on the one thing that don't come through.
They give up.
Right? And the reason I say that, because all through the prison system, he was known as like an NBA prospect. He was more known for the hooping than the rapping. You had to know that he rapped to know that he rapped.
Even asked me, yeah.
But
sure.
he was he was more popular from the court. So a lot of people, all dorms, all basketball tournaments, he gonna come up. So for people to know him for one thing, and then now when his name pop up when he out, it's like, damn, he back in the joint playing the guitar and rapping, you know what I mean? Or he doing shows. That's something completely out of what they ever thought of him. So I think like that's good to see that people can say, dang, somebody got locked up that young who was prospected to go to the league, and then all them years is gone to where you get out, you know, that's not a foreseeable dream. Mm-hmm. But like, dang, he's still doing something equally as great that can, you know, that can give him he can get an NBA check if it work out right.
Yeah.
So you still can get the same, but just taking a different route. So I just wanted to make sure I put that in there because, yeah, man, I done had to cuss him out about hooping, and I ain't even cuss people out. Like, he was that nice, though.
Yeah, but before I answer about what I got going on, one, I was at the Y yesterday giving them buckets. Number two, I'm still going back in. They let me back in the South Bend jail like 3 weeks ago, and the work release up in South Bend I was at, and I seen Marshawn. And when I seen Marshawn, I thought about, I was a slim dude in the joint. To me, penitentiary skinny, even if you 195 and cut up or whatever. And Marshawn might have been taller than me. I don't know what size he was, but I'm killing him in the post. And he's cussing Marshawn out like, why are you letting this dude do this? I ain't say nothing all game. I'm just getting buckets. I ain't doing nothing like that. Soon as it was over, I took him. I said, you want me to tell you what I was doing? And he like, yeah. So I was like, watch this. And I spent the ball. And I just did this little drop step. I said, see, when you be posting, you be like this.
You leaning.
I said, when you throwing the ball down to me, I start stepping my leg back this. I'm like, he already out of position. Because he was like, man, dang, man. You know, but just something simple like that. But right now, man, the motion I'm in is one, first and foremost, gratitude motion. Absolutely. Like, every breath I get to take, man, it's a blessing. And you never know when it's up, man. Yes, so, you know, I'm a husband first and foremost, and a dad. My daughter, 11 months, she'll be a year old. Job-wise, I'm working at this spot called Crown Equipment. Mm-hmm. They make forklifts. I'm in the press brake operator, so I just stand there and bend metal. Outside of that, I'm in the music heavy. You know, of course, I learned how to play the guitar when I was locked up, and that was after I was doing all that writing for years. So they both just meshed now. So now I'm doing this thing called American Ghetto. And I call it All American Ghetto because I feel like if Bruce Springsteen was from Broadway, my Broadway, then he would have made American songs like this. I'm still talking about the ghetto, but I'm doing it in a way where it's like storytelling. In a sense, not just glorifying what I've been through, but the way we is right now, I'm building off of it. Mm-hmm. And so I had just had an album come out in January. I'm doing shows, and I got.
What's the name of that?
Yeah, that's what it's called. The album's called All American Ghetto. I wanted that to be first because that's my style. Okay. Like, and I think when you able to carve out your own lane and make your own sound, it's like it's different. I was like, and I went and young, no, I got a catalog of stuff. I basically had a whole career rapping when I was in the joint. He like, man, you gotta go back. He was just telling me, he said, you gotta go back to the beginning though. He's like, they can't get the Curtis Mayfield you gotta go back to the beginning. And so I get it. It's a lot of game that he gave me that I know I always see him and show him love and tell him, but it's like, but it's
stuck to
you. Man, but it's like you really can't quantify how much game somebody give you, man, just by respecting you for who you are.
You feel me?
I think that comes from also, but to add to it, I think when you get the right person that can say stuff to you, but then you already know who you really want to be, it make more sense. Because like some of the stuff, I was just like, man, you gonna have to be this way. You know what I mean? To pull the hood. And I can say I was wrong, you know what I mean? But he used to be like, hey, he was like, it's more palatable this way. You know what I mean? Yeah, he'd be like, it's more palatable if I give it. He was like, people, now what did he tell me? He said, I could say it more if I say it a certain way. They'll digest it better. It's more palatable. Because then when I listen, I'm like, okay, he really saying the same stuff that you would think the average rapper would say. But the delivery, right, make them do a piece on him across the pond, though. You see what I'm saying?
You did.
And that's what the average people, when I'm talking to the little YNs, they can't do that. But they done did a whole piece on him across the pond, though, on his first EP.
Yeah, to me that was crazy. And it's like, one, like, it's always humbling to me because, like, this person wrote an article about me in London, place I ain't never been, never thought about going, but other people had a vision for how far my music could go just because the way I'm talking about the ghetto. I'm still talking about it the same way Lil Durk or somebody else is or whatever, but I'm doing it in a way where it's specifically from my experience, it's specifically from my heartbeat, and not just being like looking at what the world doing. Okay, it's like, I'm going to do it like this. It's just like, nah, man, I went in a room and was like, all right, this how I'm putting it together. And I just happened to start meeting my people. Like, my producer is a young white dude from Westfield, or what he really like from Indianapolis, but he live in Westfield. Like I went to LB, we showed up to the day. I was like, yeah, that's my producer right here. He like, what? I'm like, yeah, that's him, man. He just helped me just put that thing in a bottle like that. Like, it don't gotta sound like exactly how you think it gotta sound, but the bass and the drums, that's the ghetto sound. It's still on there.
Yeah.
I slid it in there like
not
that.
Not to correct you, but I don't think it's the sound like that. Everybody got the copycat sound.
Yeah, and that's
this
what
is
I
hot
mean.
right
That's
here.
what I mean.
So
Yeah.
let's follow this trend.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But I also remember conversations we used to have, like, cause remember we should all work in the office together in the joint at PN Product. So we
could have
gave
had
each other.
He could have had $100 million. They had a camera in there like this when we was in there.
So they should give us all. We all used to, as a group, be like, "This your radio day," right? Now, me and Young Unc all over the place with the music. So we listening to everything. And then I remember a conversation one time. It was one of them soundtracks that came out, and it was a white dude on there rapping. Gangster as you can think. But it sounded so popish that you had to give him a chance and listen to the words. And then when we was talking about, okay, so that's how you get away with it.
I told you.
What's that Will Smith movie?
But check it. It was like the 21 Pilots or something.
Yeah, that's
like
what it was.
And they was on there
21
talking
Pilots.
about, like, basically, it's basically talking about murky stuff. They was like all my friends, and I was like, man, listen to this. And I was like, man, they wouldn't let us say this on the radio like this. I'm
They
like,
saying
but they
goons
did
and
it in a
everything
way,
on
and that's
the
like, and he's listening to it. He's like, dang, that's what I'm saying. So even the music I'm making now, I'm saying some stuff that later on when they dissect it, they be like, hey, man, dude really said this. I'm like, that's the finesse. I'm like, that's for you later on.
But I think also, just like some people's ears open it, I think some people's ears automatically turn off. When they hear the way our
The
street
808,
music is,
yeah.
the 808, it
Yeah.
automatically turn
Yeah.
they music off. It
Yeah.
turned the music off.
And then you got to think 20 years start with the guitar before any music. So as soon as they hear this, they like, oh, what is this? Like my song, Same Here, it's the keys. And it's just the guitar and the hook, it's a little drums in there. But when they hear it, like I call it my whitest song. My dude heard it, he's like, man, this sound like the Fray. Like, what is this? And then when it come on, I'm talking about getting out the joint. And I'm talking about, this is before I had like 9 years left. But the first verse, I'm talking about how it was going to be. You know how we get around these people, they ain't got no energy. They've been out here the whole time.
Going forward, what you got some shows coming up?
Yeah, I got some shows coming up. Like, one, I got to do something for my people.
Okay, then.
Out
Show it to
in the
them.
boonies. Oh, yeah, that's...
Show it the
Man,
boat.
it's a crazy ghetto story behind that
Show
picture,
that back.
man.
Show
too,
that
man.
back thing.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
This y'all camera right there. All American Ghetto. You hear me? Both
Wherever
sides.
you get music at, man. YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify. People keep on telling me, hey, man, you make like 0.01 cent on the thing. I said, I don't care, bro. People hearing that stuff in London.
Nah,
Saudi
scratch
Arabia.
that. We work for $15 a month before, sir. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Listen, man.
What you know about that type of stuff?
We just had this conversation. We just had this conversation in our last
10
interview.
cent an hour,
Nigga work for 10 cents an hour, come out here and won't work for $18.
Tripping,
Man, what are
man.
you doing, man?
Tripping.
It's a
man.
different type of
What's wrong with
humbleness
you, man?
that come from people who had to go through something. I just want to say that before I pass it back to Bruss. So for people that really don't understand, like, what being humbled is,
Here it is.
you 20 years and some change, right? That's you go through so much and have to bite your tongue so much, right? I was just telling somebody that, not to be long-winded, but I was telling somebody, like, I was the type of person that always was affiliated enough to where I always controlled my environment, even as a juvenile in prison. So when they gave me the time that they gave me this time, I already understood you not making it home unless you figure it out. You got to sit on your hands. You got to bite your tongue in certain situations. Mm-hmm. So I heard so much riffraff and stuff that I never, ever put up with in my life just to get back home.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Where I could have stomped my feet or did a million things and made my environment extremely quiet and neutral.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when you go through that, that's a whole different experience because it don't matter the type of money you get from the street. When you're trying to earn the time cut that's only paying you 15 cents an hour, you still got to work it because it ain't about the pay. It's about the 6-month cut. But I'm still mopping and wiping stuff down behind messy grown men to get to the finish line. So when you touch down back out here, you have a different level, even though you have the capacity to get it. Because I'm proud of both of my brothers that they got out and got to it. Hands down, doing better than most. But it still don't subtract from what you know in your mind, the stuff that you was able to fall back and relax and be cool that the average person think, well, he ain't doing this or doing that because it ain't worth it, bro. I got a different type of humility in me based off times that I didn't have to bite my tongue at COs and all that. So why take all of that time and energy to put yourself in a certain way to where you didn't lose nothing. You didn't lose no integrity. You never lost your manhood, right? All you did is got out of situations that are uncalled for. Mm-hmm. That's the part about growing up that you have to learn as well. I got out of, now I can sit there and let you run out of gas and walk away. It won't bother me a bit because all I just did, right?
Let you hear yourself.
But I just kept me from letting you trick me.
Back
man,
there.
You just took me back.
You see what I'm saying?
You just took me back. Remember where I came? I think I came into work, and it's like I think I had 17 years in, and I was like something had happened in the dorm, and it was one of the first times where I felt like maybe it's a worthy opponent. And I remember telling you, like, I don't know if I had tears in my eyes or not, but I remember telling you, like, man, if I whoop him, like, that's my fault. Like, you let somebody feel 17 years, like. That's on you that I let you feel like that I'm a machine. I let you push a button. I'm like, nah, man, it was your host of fat. Young Shaul, man. Told me, man. He said, man, you ain't no pop machine. You ain't got no buttons. You ain't got no triggers. And it's like, of course, we know trauma-wise it's triggered, but as far as like that, people like, man, you trying to push my buttons. When he told me that, you ain't no pop machine, I was like, yeah, for sure, you right. So I never let nobody knock me off my square as far as that go. And you talking about that, like, it was like 3 months before I got a job after I came home. And the interview that I went for on this job, dude was looking at my credentials and everything like that. He was like, you know, this is like an entry-level job. Like, I said, man, I don't care.
Don't care.
You just told me that hard work pay off. And they end up paying me $7. They put me in a whole nother job just because I said that on the interview. Now I'm making way more than that at the spot. But even they ain't even put me in the position that I walked in there that was interviewing me for just because of my energy in the room. And I was just like, man, I don't care what you said, bro. You just told me hard work pay off. I guarantee you I won't stay there. And I had enough balls to say that right then and there. Otherwise just walking in there like, oh, it's cool if y'all heard me, y'all don't hear me. It's just bro. It's like I'm gonna be the best, even though I ain't a worker like that. I'm a boss of my own mind, but I'm gonna be the best of whatever position you put me at. That's just how I get down. Yeah. Even if I'm thinking about going into music full time, I ain't about to shortchange where I'm at because I'm like, shout out to y'all gave me a shot.
Hey, listen, just before you go any further, I tell young niggas all the time, bro, when I'm in a job, I want to be the best or whatever. Don't put me in no position you don't want me to be the best in.
For
I don't care what it is I'm doing.
Yeah.
Hey, when they see Kaos, man, I walk through Kaos department. His department the best. I ain't never seen a department like that. Ain't gonna do nothing but raise your level and raise your pay in the position you in.
You know why?
Experience is a thing.
You know why though, Kaos? Because how you do anything is how you do everything. You don't get your shortchange. I'm like, I'm doing crab push-ups, but when I get home, it's like this. It's like, nah, man, I'm doing the joints to the ground. Like, I don't care what it is. If I'm mopping the floor, I'm going to mop the floor like the best Swisher.
I'm Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off, and everything I do.
Because you conditioning your mind to deal, like what you said, like, man, bro, I got to the joint, I was making 10 cents an hour, bro. I'm wiping tables, stepping on roaches and shit. It's like, bro, like, what are y'all? This is what I went to. Like, bro, like you said, like, I'm thinking about going to the league, bro. Now all that's over. So it's like, your mental fortitude start getting built up, even when you don't even really know it, just what you're going through, because you walking through the situation.
So I will say, people, do whatever you have to do to raise your mind up and for you to be comfortable with being you. And I think that's why it was important for me to get it out the mud. You know, some people had stuff handed to them.
We all do.
But I think it was important for me to get it out the mud because it made me always be able to tell my story.
And appreciate it.
Like, and like, no matter what it is. Because, like, when I got to the joint, right, now, mind you, I had already, they know me for having my best run before I go to the joint, which is sad because when I get to the joint, it's like, I think 6 people at the joint who I have been sending stuff to. You see what I'm saying? But when I get to the joint, I immediately like, how am I go home? So I'm looking for programs. So we in the plus, you got to do the community hours. I mean, I'm cutting grass. Mm-hmm. They come outside, man, we about to call home. You cutting grass and blah, blah, blah. You bricks the grass. And I'm like, what?
I remember that too.
Out of nowhere though. Mind you, I ain't even been there that long.
Yeah.
And this, y'all gonna come outside, y'all calling me out for cutting grass, bro.
I'm trying to go home.
But that's what I told him. I said,
Not
man,
even trying. I am.
I said, man, I make everything look cool, man. What are y'all talking about? Mm-hmm. I'm cutting grass for a time cut. Like, make sure you tell them that. Yeah. 10 months later, I think I need to come over. Everybody who was clowning me want to come over, right? Nah. What happened to them cutting grass? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What happened to them getting up 3 a.m. doing suicide watch? Like, what happened to all this stuff that I'm volunteering I have to do that y'all's talking greasy about? Now I've been there long enough, it's cool. But when we first was there, y'all over there with sex offenders. And this. They found every way to try to shit on the program. Yeah. Until you see the right dudes
man,
over there.
The pamphlet they filled out.
You know I got to speak on this, man.
That's crazy, bro.
You know, it's crazy that you said that, man, because I got somebody that I love to death. Love him to death. But every time I try to do something, they find something to knock. Yeah, and it always be that way, too. That, you know, when it be us that's close, that's trying to knock you. Okay. We're going to wrap up. All right. So, you just have to edit that part. But anyhow.
It wasn't like the Starbucks turn up.
Yeah.
Nah, but you know.
Go ahead. Go ahead and just tell the people what you got going, what's your next show,
you, man?
How they can find you.
We won't get that message out there, man. We appreciate your time, Chris, man. Foosie, this man a dope interview, man. I always try to wrap it up, man, and with you giving out all your information so they can get in contact with you, man, and really support brothers that's coming home, man, and doing this type, thing. I commend you for turning your life around and doing, after all that time, man, because it's not I think when bro came home, it opened my eyes, man, to a lot of different obstacles that can be in your way doing 20 years, man. You know what I mean? The times have changed so much, man, so I just want to salute you for that. But let the people know where they can find you, how they can get your album, all that good stuff, man. All
right, and for sure. If you don't know already, it's Foosie. You can find me on Instagram, Foosie31, Foosie 31. You can find me on Facebook, Chris Lewis, in parentheses, Foosie. Like I said, you can get my album on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer. I don't know. It's a lot of other stuff the Distro Kid put on there. I'm like, why I ain't on the GTL there, But that's for sure where you can find me, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, bro.
Sure, man.
All right, in closing, I want y'all to understand, right? For all y'all to say it ain't possible, we got proof that it's possible. We got somebody got out in their 30s. He been doing shows since he been home, right? He over the pond. So it's proof that you can still get out and be who you want to be. And if you not who you want to be, you can pivot and still do something else.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, you can be great just know that, man. Love you, brother.
Man,
You too, bro.
look inside, man.
Thank
Don't
you,
look
man.
outside
I
for what you
appreciate
need,
Sure,
my
man,
nigga.
for real. Good to meet
Salute,
y'all, man.
Barz2Brickz.
Crazy
It's been
how we
another
miss each
one.
other with the tongue.
It been another one, man. Salute Mike. Salute Chauncey. Salute Chris. Our police. Everybody, man. Everybody out there, man. Like he said, man, it can be done, man. And that's what the Barz2Brickz platform is showing you every time. Salute to everybody out there.
But I never really thought that I would have to answer for all of my sins again and again and again.